Okay, boom. We are live. Hello, everybody. Financial Junkies, episode 2. We have a very, 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 very big announcement tonight. And that announcement
I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for it.
is that
We got a
announcement.
camera on the audience.
Let's
The
go.
whole
Shameless
title
plugging
of this
time.
episode is premised on this very big financial
There's 40
announcement.
people right now that are like,
And this financial announcement is
40 people right now that are
that I have launched a new merch website. Okay, no, this is not the announcement. We're just waiting for Vitaly. But this is a good time to show you guys some of the merch that I launched, and then we're gonna get into Vitaly. So if you're a supporter of this channel, obviously I have a startup and I have my YouTube channel as well. So startup design I think is really cool.
Make it bigger.
Trying to become the YouTube.
Zoom into it because you can't read anything.
Okay, let me zoom in here. We developed some pretty cool merch. It's like some retros 90s stuff. There's a microphone and a mic stand kind of walking together. It says get your audio discovered. Some pretty cool colorways on this. It's called emitislegit.com. So you guys can check that out. Emitislegit.com. I'll pin it as well. And then for those who are supporters of the morning stream, we've got the OG Emit Wake Your Ass Up hoodie. It was fun stuff that we cooked up. And I
love the names, like the front page. One of them was like Amit Shocked Face hoodie. It's like just straight up description.
Yeah. That's the big announcement today. No, that's not the big announcement. But if you guys want to check it out, merch officially live. I was hesitant to launch it, but a lot of people were like, yo, launch the merch. And so the merch is here. So we'll see if anyone really cares about it and wants to buy it. But merch is live. But we have a more fun announcement once Vitaly gets in, and he'll be in soon. And then we'll be talking about that. Quick note on the merch. It's shipping from a high quality US supplier. Shipping's going to be quick. Not trying to break the bank. Profit margins are like $10 to $15 per item. Everything ends in 69 or 420 because and free shipping worldwide.
Amit, here's the question. How was your experience with Shopify to get everything set up?
Shopify. So I had a Shopify store 5 years ago, and it took like 5 days to set this up when most people it takes like a month. Like it was really simple. So Shopify, great experience. It actually made me think, should I invest in Shopify stock? But I want to get deeper into the numbers.
That's where you were going with it, right?
Yeah, I'm actually going right into that because I think for a lot of people who are content creators, who are influencers, who want to start their own business, I was talking to Kelly about this, that Shopify is like one of those platforms that can actually do very well in taking away market share from companies like Amazon, right? So there's so much e-commerce that's done through Amazon, but I'm hearing a lot of complaints about people with Amazon, like just charging so much to do business on there, like it's almost like 30% margins. And then that's before anything happens. So I think a lot of smaller people, they're getting kind of like tired of Amazon. They're like, look, we need to set up our own kind of little platform where we can sell directly to the consumer. So that's definitely something that I'm going to be looking at too.
That's Shopify, not Etsy.
That's not Etsy.
That's not Etsy.
I did want to say I also had a sponsorship too. Hold on. You had a sponsorship. I had a sponsorship.
Okay. No,
I just want to bring it up.
Got it.
I just got sponsored. I didn't want to bring it up. Let me present for a second.
It's better not be some bullshit. It's gonna be some bullshit.
It's being sponsored by
It's going to be the pictures from the WhatsApp group chat.
Okay. Is it on? Is it on the screen? Okay, there. I'm sponsored by FTX. Fuck. God damn it, I'm bankrupt. Forget it. That was my sponsorship. It's gone. Okay.
The other thing about Shopify, I was looking at their like GMV was almost close to like Amazon's. I saw some tweet this today. I forgot to save it, but it's catching up to what Amazon's doing in terms of the actual volume of merchandise going through the platform. So and it's really creator friendly, man. It took me a couple of minutes set up the PayPal, all this stuff. It was quick. Amazon.
What made you pick that over Spring?
Well, I used Shopify 5 years ago, and I remember I was looking at the back-end analytics when I used to do drop shipping, and it was just phenomenal. I mean, like the amount of data you have and the ease at which you can integrate the stuff, it was easy. I never used Spring, I never used Squarespace, but Shopify is like it's like Robinhood to me with stocks. Like I wouldn't use other platforms because Robinhood's so UI friendly. So same thing with Shopify.
Right.
Okay, so let's get into the actual announcement. First of all, 94 people, thank you for joining us on a Sunday night. Appreciate you guys. Got a lot to talk about. Our actual big financial announcement today. I think you guys are going to enjoy this. We are setting up a public YouTube portfolio for the Financial Junkies podcast. All of us are putting in $1,000 into this portfolio for now. So it'll be a $4,000 portfolio. And each of us will be allocating $333 to 3 different stocks. So because there's 4 of us, 3 times 4 equals 12. We are going to share a Google Sheet in the show notes that will keep track of this portfolio that Vitaly created, and he'll share it in a little bit to show you guys what it looks like. And the reason we're doing this is because we thought it would be really cool to like see, you know, like let's say this podcast goes on for the next year or 2 years, to see a portfolio actually develop over the next couple of years and see who beats each other in terms of gains or returns or what types of options we might put on the portfolio. Anything like that, I think it would be really cool. The vibe of Financial Junkies episode 1 was awesome. A lot of people enjoyed it. A lot of people like the chemistry we have. So we thought might as well open up a public portfolio, put $1,000 in right now. And then over time we'll add to it. And whatever moves we make on that portfolio will be public and everyone will be able to see it.
Yep.
It's pretty cool. You guys excited for it?
Well, why don't I share and show sort of what it's going to look like? This is all mock data right now. This is not real data. So
Go ahead.
The only thing is, are we set that we're doing like an even allocation? I don't think we necessarily should do an even allocation.
No, you do what I say. Everybody does what they want. So if you want to share the screen, sort of how I got this set up,
Because the allocation of the $1,000 is equal to your conviction, you know.
Yeah,
So-
I mean that's fair. That's fair.
So yeah, here right now I just put everybody put in $1,000. We didn't do that yet. We are planning to do it. So this is
Right.
all happening now. Down here, you would basically put your trades emit. So if you bought Tesla, you would put what you paid, how many shares you bought, and then as the price changes, it'll update automatically every time we check this. So this will be updated. I'm still working on finishing it all, but we all have our own pages for the trades. And then when you look at the combined, it'll show you whose portfolio is growing more than somebody else's very clearly. We'll see who's getting bigger. So as soon as this pie changes, we will know who's winning. Who's winning that?
Is it update automatically?
Yes. So the way Google Sheets works is you will probably have to actually take a look at it, and then it updates the data. You know.
Okay.
You follow me?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's about it for that. So this is all fake data right now. No one actually bought anything. We're gonna start probably this week.
Yep.
Okay, so I thought, I think this is a really good idea. It's gonna be fun. Every week we'll be able to track it. It'll be based on conviction. So yeah, I guess Carlos, do you want to do at least 3 stocks, right? Or do you want to put 1,000 into one thing?
No,
I think you do whatever you want.
I wouldn't do that, but I don't just want. I want to do some crypto too.
Okay, yeah, that crypto's fine. Yeah, that's totally fine. Okay, cool. So let's start off. Chris, how many you picked 3 stocks, correct?
So yes, I did pick 3 stocks, but with the current market the way it is, I'm only gonna probably just do 1 for now, right? Because right now we're sort of in a weird place. So the only thing I'm gonna do is allocate about a third of the money that I'm going to put in prospectively into SOXS, which is short semiconductors, triple leveraged. So basically right now I'm super bearish on semiconductors. Semiconductors, a lot of them ran up during the last couple of years because of overinvestment in the entire sector. Everyone was jumping in. NVIDIA, AMD, a lot of semis are up there. There were supply chain issues that came around. Now you have issues around China, and now there's also demand issues. So semis are in a really bad place. Semis are very cyclical. So you don't necessarily want to be in like the bottom part of the cycle where things are going down, right? And I think we've seen this last bear market rally in a lot of semis where they're actually up almost 25-30%, but the business environment hasn't necessarily improved. So
what's
I
the
think
ticker again, Chris? What's the ticker?
SOXS.
Okay.
Do you want to make up a chart?
Yeah, I'm bringing it up right
Yeah.
now.
SOSX.
Yep.
So this is the only thing you're putting your money in right now. For
Yeah.
this portfolio.
And not a lot of money. And this is, like I said, this is a volatility play where I think right now with semis the way they are, they're going to bounce up and down. So do a line chart and do like 1 year, because that'll help show you what's going on with it. So you guys see where these peaks and valleys kind of happen with a lot of this stuff, where you have a lot of over exuberance in the market. That's when you see a huge ride up in the price of the underlying ETF. So right now,
October 13th was the low on the S&P, and this went to 89.
Mm-hmm.
So it works inverse to
Well, to
bullish market.
semiconductors. It's not necessarily whether it's bullish or not bullish, but it's all dependent on the macro environment for semiconductors, right? So I think a lot of bad news, I don't want to say bad news, but a lot of valuations on the semi side haven't necessarily been factored in yet. And so you're still seeing a lot of high PEs and high betas in the semi areas right now. So look at
What are the
NVIDIA.
companies? What are
NVIDIA's,
some of the companies within that?
so I'll pull up the FinWiz that I have already loaded.
Yeah.
With
So Chris, to confirm, if AMD and NVIDIA, for example, tank, you make money on SOXS.
Correct.
Triple
That is
leverage.
correct.
Three
Yep.
times the amount, basically.
Oh,
right?
you know what that's like? I don't know. I don't know if you went into it in 2020. I made some good money on UVXY, which is like, I think it's a triple leveraged. Oh man, and I made some good money on it very quickly too.
The thing is, I want to point out when we do this, we should have full episodes every quarter to go over the portfolios, because I think this is the long game here.
Yep.
I think Chris is trying to front run us here, trying to get as much capital together in the next couple of weeks,
Right.
which might work out for Chris in the short term. But I bet you anything over the next year that at least mine, maybe Carlos's too, will outperform, because we're buying just high growth stocks. We're not shorting anything.
Yeah, I think Vitaly and I, what did we short? I forgot what
we shorted Square at $50.
We shorted Square. Yeah, we shorted like Square. It was like, I think I did
2020.
Personally, I just feel better not.
We're like it's
you got screwed on that, right? You got screwed on that.
Oh yeah.
Well, so take a look at my.
Hold on. It was a $200 short. Yes, I lost the whole thing.
Right. Like, no, like, what was it? The whole thing is point of sale. Like, there's no way that.
How are they going to make money?
Leave their homes. How are they going to make money?
So I think Chris's thing
is.
Chris's thing is very similar in the fact that semiconductors. They sound really shitty right now, but I bet you anything, semis are going to be like, they're going to turn around pretty fast as soon as Chris invests.
So these are all the semiconductors that are in SOXS. There might be a few that are not, but you can see the year-to-date performance for a lot of them is really bad. But we're still nowhere near the absolute bottom yet. So right now, if you're looking at like how they've been performing over the last month, most of them are up significantly, like especially Lattice and ASXS and ASML. And a lot of it does not necessarily make 100% sense based on what the market cycle is. So yeah, you guys are right. I'm trying to front run you on getting as much capital as possible, but I'm not going like all in and just going super bearish on semis. I'm just using a third of it. The rest I'll keep in cash in case it does not work in my favor. This way I can average down, right? So yeah. So
I just want to point out what you're saying actually makes some sense, because if you look at, can you show the S&P chart right now? Or I can show on TradingView actually. Well, why don't I do that? Why don't I share my TradingView chart?
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, you got it.
Hold on. Let me bring it up.
Vitaly, did you pick 3 stocks as well, or?
Yeah, but let me just show S&P first. What I think is going to happen, and I think someone putting in the comments the risks associated with shorting things. Yes, do not short. Do not follow Chris into this trade or us. This is us. Internally,
I think if this is meant to give value to the audience, having someone doing calls, having some puts, having crypto, just kind of see all the strategies play out, right? Yeah. This is not our real portfolios, so
right.
Yeah. You got to realize there could be some of us just wanting to win, at least in the short term. Who knows about the long term? Okay, let me show you the SPX in a second. I'll do it live too. Hold on.
So Chris, how much are you going to allocate to this SOX from the
about 300? I think 300 is not too bad. Yeah. So this way I'm leaving myself room with which I can average down if necessary.
Okay.
So
what is it at? What is it at now?
It's at 34. So $34.
Yeah. So I'll probably do about 10 shares of it.
Okay.
Vitaly, it's up. Your picture.
Yeah, I'm just fixing this a little bit so it makes some sense, because something is going on right now that I've been tracking, but I haven't.
Timmy Popplewell in the chat says this is AKA as gambling. Don't be stupid with your hard-earned money, Chad. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So S&P right now, technically we are at resistance. So so Chris has a point that if we don't break out, if we are not just shooting off to the moon here, or even this resistance up here at 4,400. And this is where we can possibly tank very soon if this chart makes any sense, right? Because we're in a downtrend here. Is that
Damn,
obvious to
Vitaly,
everybody?
don't be trying to get into my trades too, man.
I'm not.
Kidding. I'm just kidding.
Believe me.
He's like, we've already bottomed.
Yeah, I think the bottom is still meaning that we're going to hit maybe the double bottom at 3,400. That's what I think is going to happen.
Q1 next year, January.
Look, the thing is, I'm pointing this out only because I'm monitoring this. So it probably seems like it makes sense to short things, but meaning the S&P and then other stocks in it. But I don't do that. I would rather just dollar cost average. So let me be the voice of reason here. I think this is enough for the chart. The voice of reason is that I'm not shorting anything, even though I think it will move down. I'm just going to dollar cost average in the stocks Chris doesn't want, of course, as they do hopefully drop, because my intention as a long-term investor is to buy those things as they drop and not to try to short them and make some small amount of money to make 40%, 30%. I know that sounds like a lot, but that's not life-changing money anymore. I need the 5X, the 10X. I need that to be life-changing money. And the only way to do that is to go long on the market. So meaning on picking stocks that I think are going to make it. So I won't move to me right now. Maybe Carlos should go next, but that's what I think.
All right, Carlos, what you doing with your grand?
Me, interesting. Well, like Chris, I'm probably gonna hold some. I mean, I might do a more of a DCA strategy, but I mean, in a nutshell, I think I'm gonna allocate a certain percentage of the money to a few positions. Hold on, let me get my windows in order here. We can bring up charts if we need. Essentially, I will be buying Tesla at these levels. I'll probably allocate a small bit to Enphase, and it's going to be then the crypto will probably be evenly divided among Bitcoin and Ethereum.
So Enphase, Tesla, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. And why Enphase at $320? Why?
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't go into it right now.
Why are you putting anything into it?
Right now?
Yeah.
No, I'm not putting anything to it right now. I'm gonna wait for some sort of pullback.
Oh, okay. we should cover Enphase too. Do you want to cover that because it has shot off even further up to the moon?
It's not viable. Like
we'll do that after we give our portfolios. We'll do that after. Okay, so Enphase. So for Chris, he's shorting semiconductors. For Carlos, you're doing Enphase, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Tesla.
Yeah.
Chris, should you be shorting Enphase at this point?
Nah, dude, I don't short meme stocks.
Meme stocks.
Oh my God, that's the quote of the.
Is Enphase a meme stock? Is Enphase a meme stock?
Listen, you should put that in the next title though, and then his bulls on his ass.
I just think that Tesla is becoming really spring loaded, and I don't know if it's Q1. I don't know how many quarters we have left until the sentiment switches, but when it does, I just think it's going to be a rocket ship, and I just think buying it with every available cash that I have. I mean, the semis are being released. It wasn't really covered in the news as a big deal, but they're slowly starting to move into the next phase of their growth. And even if let me just look. I mean, we know that company to be building. Let me go back to my Tesla chart. Let me see if I can share for a second. How do I share down here? Sorry, here we go.
So Fuddbucker is following Chris into his trade. That's how you know it's a winning trade.
So you guys can see, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't see my screen. But essentially, you can see that Tesla is building S-curves on top of S-curves. And so I believe this was the EV S-curve here, right? And so we know that they're getting into AI. We know that FSD, they're not even catchable at this point, right? And I truly believe that other companies will be licensing FSD from them. We know that they have the bot coming. We know that the next level Cybertruck, we know that there'll be a robotaxi. We know that they're going to do these things. And I just cannot imagine that the multiple on Tesla, first of all, in terms of where the stock price is today, and then the multiple that Wall Street's going to give it once they have the safety of multiple revenue streams, I just can't see how this is not a good percentage of this portfolio. Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think we said this on the last podcast. I think we are really lucky to be alive in these sort of generational changes that just really don't come around. They literally are once in a lifetime, and we happen to be alive for two of the major ones, right? The digitization of our monetary policy, and I just cannot see how you where else to allocate capital if not investing into those generational changes. There's other things that I would buy. Like, I mean, I'm also seriously considering Apple. I think that Apple still has a lot of bullets in the gun, but when I compare it to those three opportunities, I just can't justify it, you know?
In terms of buying it, since we're doing this in an exchange that is not a crypto exchange, we have to buy GBTC. I'm not sure where the ETH equivalent is, but I think there is one. So we have to buy that as opposed to the actual Bitcoin.
Yeah, I was looking that up. Well, actually, we should talk about that. What exchange are we buying these on?
Probably Fidelity.
Oh, by the way, the
Fidelity?
GBTC, don't you guys get like almost like a net asset value discount because it's trading under the total assets that are in there? I think it's a significant one too. It's like
I haven't looked recently.
discount.
I haven't looked recently because, but I also think that the crypto play, I am in it as well in my own private portfolio. But I feel that Carlos is starting too early in that. But he's accumulating. That's fine. You can accumulate that. I think crypto's basically dead till 2024. I mean, like we're gonna have a whole year of sideways movement. I don't think there's going to be a lot of money being made most of 2023 while crypto's sort of static. Look, it can go double and then go half and then double. That's what it does. And so I don't know. Your portfolio is going to swing pretty wildly, but be down, be up if you're just going more into crypto. Tesla, on the other hand, I agree with you totally. I think that's probably completely undervalued, and that's probably going to shoot to the moon.
It's crushed.
I think
that's I mean, to be clear, I'm not buying this stuff necessarily now. I will hold some of it. And probably mirror my entry points on my own personal account.
Amit, show the screenshot that I have posted real quick. So right now, if you look at Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, it's actually trading at a discount to net asset values that are discounted. So if you go out right now and you buy Bitcoin, you're buying a whole Bitcoin that's like straight Bitcoin. With GBTC, you're buying Bitcoin at a 40% discount, which is kind of crazy, to be honest with you. Yeah. Which, like, if you look at 5 years, you see this right here. Usually it traded at a premium, but now it's trading at a significant discount. So,
and that's because of FTX. They're afraid that it's going to go under.
Yep. So even if this returns back to normal with regular 0% net asset value, that's still a great trade, you know, just to get back to even. So it's almost like GBTC has to make sure that they stay solvent and that they can prove that they have the Bitcoin reserves.
Right.
You know.
Actually, yeah, then I might follow you into this trade. But I think Bitcoin has further to fall before I do that. So I would hold money on the side.
That's the thing. I agree. I think this still has further to fall. I think, I mean, whatever. I'll go on the record and I say I don't think we see the bottom until somewhere in January. So I'm just holding. You think so? You think even further than January?
Well, yeah, 2023, I don't see as any positive catalyst for Bitcoin. And the other problem with Bitcoin is that FTX unraveled a lot of things. So we have all of these other exchanges now going bankrupt now. So meaning that this is still playing out. And over the next several months, it's still going to play out. I don't know if you guys remember Mt. Gox back in 2014. I forgot when that was, a while ago. It took years and years to play out until it was all sort of under the table. And then we can reinvest back into Bitcoin.
Go back up. You know, but here's the thing. I feel like it's cratered so much. I mean, what is it? The typical drop in Bitcoin particularly is like 80%, or maybe say it's even
85, more, and it's like 78 right now.
We're at 77. You're right. We're like right there. And right. So my belief is even if that happens and there still are these macro forces that these things are tanking, I think that it's just going to be gobbled up at those levels because it really what you're talking about is a $10,000 Bitcoin. That's what we're talking about here. I just don't see how it's going to get under 10,000 with all these people buying in, which is I think what will happen. Because at that point, we're not really talking about institutions anymore. It's back to the retail traders, and we know what Bitcoin does when it's at these levels. We have a lot of experience with what Bitcoin does when the institutions aren't involved.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. In 2024, whatever Chris did, we're going to totally smash into fucking 6Xs, okay? That'll absolutely happen in 2024.
Well, it's Chris. Is your strategy to make money on this trade now?
No. Yeah,
is it even to make money ever? No, I'm saying, are you doing this to
Chris
like level up? Are you
He's a trader, dude.
To like amplify your available capital? Like, are you saying I'm going to do this as like 3 month?
Yeah. I think probably I think probably this is a sniper trade, right? Where basically if you see something that's the market is not relevantly like factoring in and you can make a little bit of money so that this way your capital increases, then yeah, it's definitely worth doable. So if this, let's say, works out the way I think it does, it hits, let's say $45, $50, I'll seriously evaluate just selling it out and then using the proceeds to either go into a cash position. So I have more liquid cash to get into better investments and to also see what's bottoming out. Because like right now, I have a few stocks that are in my brain right now, like Facebook, like or Meta, whatever you want to call it, some new bank. But the problem is right now the macro is a little bit off. So what ends up happening is if the macro environment deteriorates, these companies, no matter how good they are and how well they perform, they'll go down with it. And because of the way that everyone invests right now, there's more index investing than ever before. So what happens is if the index falls, the price of the stock is going to go down with it, especially ones that are heavily indexed. So I would say right now, if you're worried that the macro environment is going to go down, that it's better to be in a more liquid position like cash. Believe it or not, I even considered some bonds, but even the bond side, I don't know what's going to happen with the interest rates. So Powell could come in and say, we're pausing. And now some of the bonds that are peaking could end up not doing so well. So I think we have a once in a 10-year generational opportunity to get in to some really
once in
good
a month
companies.
lifetime.
No, not once in a month, but
I'm kidding.
I would say once in every 10 years, you get an opportunity. Like think about all the people that bought stocks in 2008, 2009. If you time it right, you can buy in at 2008, 2009. The people that bought stocks in 2006 and 5 didn't make any money until 2015, 2016 when things started to recover. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't time the market. Well, guess what? If you time it right, you can have a much more like risk averse profile, safety profile.
Right, but that is, I mean, but that you make.
So let's finish me and Vitaly, because then we'll talk about everything, because we got to talk about Michael Burry. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. So Vitaly, what are your stocks?
Well, hold on before I go on. Chris, did you just say that when it bottomed in 2008, 2009, somewhere in 2009, that people didn't make money until 2016? Did you just say that? Did I hear that correctly?
No, he said you were buying in 2005, 2006, the market continued to tank through 2008, and you didn't actually recover from the levels you bought them at until 2015, 2016.
Yeah, well, that's assuming, once again, you did the stupid thing and you went in all in 2006. So we're not advocating for that at all. If you just kept dollar cost averaging and you kept 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, you would be up God knows how much. I mean, Google, how much is Google up in the last? So even if you were just dollar cost averaging, just quality names, not even trying to figure it out, Apple, Google, Microsoft. Yeah. I mean, you're 5 to 10x everything, basically.
Right.
Okay. So I have several stocks, but I'm actually not rushing in. I pointed out the S&P thing. So I think we're having a pullback. I'm going to have some cash. I might actually deploy a little bit, maybe a third, like he was saying, but not into shorting anything. I have several stocks, Meta being one of them. And if it goes a little bit lower, I was actually getting more call options at 100. So I would consider getting call options again at around $100, maybe $110. And Google, easy bets. Tesla, very easy bet. I would probably buy that right now. That's one of the stocks I would just buy, expecting 2023 is actually going to be good for Tesla, because just the numbers they're putting out right now, it's kind of crazy. And the semi truck came out and all these things happened. So
on the EV incentives kick in January. So what do you
EV incentives, right? There's a lot of things happening. What is that called? The Inflation Reduction Act that is not reducing inflation, but it's going to help out EVs and solar. So that's absolutely helping and pushing Enphase up right now too. And I would buy Enphase, but not now. I do think it's a little bit hot. So we can discuss all of that and what's happening and what I might do with a little bit of my portfolio in terms of taking some profits. But yes, Enphase, Tesla, Uber I'm looking at. I want Uber at $20 or $21 again. I totally missed it when it hit 21.
We were buying that all 2020.
Yeah,
the $15. Like
I have a good amount of Uber, but I want more. I actually think Uber is one of those generational companies.
All right, well, you're going to have to explain. You're going to have to explain that.
What's your average on Uber?
Maybe $29, somewhere around there. Okay. $28.
Yeah, my average is in the $20 range. Me and Invest to Live, Sean, we're actually advocating a lot of buying around around $20. Like we actually did a couple of videos on it too.
That's
Like
good.
Uber, yeah, I think Uber is kind of a little bit misunderstood, that people just keep thinking it's the ride hailing. But if you combine deliveries, you combine advertising on top of it, you combine now a logistics platform that they have for trucking. They have so many verticals that they're integrating into. It's kind of nuts, you know.
Yeah, it was actually in your video that I first saw that they're advertising in the app. And I was like,
Mhm.
wow, they're actually making money now in the app off of like food services, all these companies advertising with them. I'm
Yeah.
like, I wasn't even counting that as my bull case. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like they have like, yeah, I agree with you. All these verticals that people are ignoring. They think it's just a ride sharing thing like Lyft. That's what they think.
Yeah. It's almost like, and it's kind of cool because it's like if you're like, let's say some kind of Chinese food restaurant and you want your search to appear at the top because most people are going to be searching and you can put it at the top. There's a value, a dollar amount that you can pay to Uber to get your algorithm, to get the algorithm to go to push you to a higher ranking. And because of that, that's a great, and that is a very low cost way for Uber to generate a lot of revenue, right? Because it's almost like anytime you have advertising, that's what everyone loves about it. Especially if it's focused advertising, it ends up translating into a lot of leads, and also means that Uber doesn't really have to pay much other than just setting the algorithm for advertisers to put at the top. So yeah, it's really cool.
And the other one I've been buying actually on the way down is Unity. And in fact, I was buying it all the way into the low 20s, and then it decided to, of course, go right to $40. So it doubled in a matter of a week. And I wasn't ready to, I thought I'd have some more opportunity to keep buying basically. So I'm trying to build a nice big position as Unity goes down, because I do think it's a monopoly along with Epic Games. And so there's two companies there that'll control, if there's a metaverse, if that exists, or if architects and engineers have to use 3D tools, there's two companies to do it. Unity is one of them, and that's the one that's in the public markets. That's what I'm buying. And so far I'm actually up. I'm up pretty decently on Unity right now, but I didn't want it to be up yet. I wanted to keep accumulating. And Meta too, I'm just going to keep buying it all the way down. That's important for me.
So Amit, how much Palantir are you buying?
Everything. No. I was gonna be the same as you. I don't want to deploy yet either. I want to wait a little bit, just like you guys. It's the macro is a little bit interesting right now. My top two were actually Tesla, because I agree with everything Carlos is saying, like literally everything Carlos is saying. And the number two is gonna surprise you guys, but Meta. I have been really going deeper into Meta. Really been thinking about them over the past couple of weeks. I've been trying to understand the long-term thesis. You know what put me off the brink? The WhatsApp monetization.
Yes.
What they're doing with WhatsApp, the 2 billion DAUs every day, and the amount of merchants that are going to be able to advertise on that platform. I mean, that shit it's different. Now, and they already got rid of 11,000 employees. CapEx is probably going to go down. I don't like all the metaverse spend either. I don't really care about the metaverse. But I think at 120, to expect this to not be like 300 in the next 2-3 years, I don't know. I wouldn't bet against that.
I always said Meta's an easy double, and now it's becoming an easier triple. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
yep.
So I think Meta is like a no-brainer. I put a lot of money already into Meta, and I am down, but I don't care, because I do believe that. How can you discount all of these things? I know people say people aren't using Facebook. Okay, are they not? Did they stop using Instagram? I don't think so.
No. People use Facebook, man. For the majority of the developing world, their news comes from Facebook. Even if for us, we get it from independent news sites. Like Facebook matters to a large part of the world, even if not for the United States.
And what do you think? What do you think of? Because you just take this as an example. One of the reasons why Musk is trying to switch Twitter off of the advertising model is because you're basically then become beholden to.
No. It's because the ads suck on Twitter. The ads work
but he
on Facebook.
specifically stated, I don't want us to be beholden to that, where people can threaten or boycott, right? Where you have to then become.
No, he doesn't want to be. No, that's bullshit. He doesn't want to be beholden because no one clicks on Twitter ads. People love Instagram and Facebook ads. People click on them.
I don't particularly love. Anyway, I'm just going by what he said. So, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about, say, Facebook right now? A majority of their money comes from advertising.
I've realized as a small business owner and someone who's trying to build a startup, and you need
every
to
time you say startup, you got to plug it. You got to say what it is.
Check it out, Audia.io.
This is sponsored by. This is sponsored by.
Dude, we're all Audia investors, so I'm okay with this. I'm okay
to get people's attention. You need to advertise. And what is the one place in the world that has everyone everyone's attention. It's Facebook. It's just that. And search advertising is not as effective for like a start. Like no one's typing in, Audia.io, right? Like on Google. So I'm not going to be able to get them to click, but I can show what Audia is to random people scrolling. Google doesn't have a feed that you scroll through outside of YouTube, right? But like majority of which is only 10% of their advertising revenue, majority is search, and search is just not that effective for small businesses and small startups. So I don't think Facebook's going anywhere. They have 10 million advertisers. WhatsApp is going to get better. Like Twitter ads suck. And that's why Musk wants to get out of it, which makes sense because Twitter is not like a place where you discover like products, but Facebook is.
Yeah.
Also,
I
don't
know,
forget. Yeah.
I don't know if people read, but me and Chris were actually talking on our Discord about the fact that WhatsApp is now servicing food grocery delivery in India. And that's sort of like, that's not even a business I would have thought would happen. Like, it's crazy how they're finding all these verticals in their businesses. And so I think a lot of what Mark has done, people are ignoring, and they're looking at the fact that they hate him. You just want to hate Mark. And I get that. Yep. Fine. You want to hate him, but I love money. And I think Mark can actually print a lot of money for us in the future.
Yeah. There's two areas that I think a lot of people don't also cover, like Facebook Marketplace. Dude, I love Facebook Marketplace. Yeah. I just got a new treadmill from Facebook Marketplace, right? And like another treadmill that I had that broke, I needed to get rid of it. Dude, I put it on Facebook Marketplace. A guy came, took it. Dude, he was happy. I was happy. There's a lot of people creating business value on Facebook Marketplace that you never would have thought of, right? And another thing is the TikTok ban. Bro, it's coming. I don't know.
I think it might be coming too, man. This is the first time I'm agreeing with you. I think it might be coming.
There are so many, dude, there's senators, there's House members, there's the FTC. Fucking Janet Yellen was like, we need to get TikTok banned. Most of the Western world is considering a TikTok ban. Dude, the minute that happens, where do you think all these teeny boppers are going to go to post their stupid videos and dancing things? They're all going to go to Instagram Reels. Reels is already doing it.
And Reels, I've been using Reels. It feels better than TikTok, man. It feels more calm. Like it. YouTube Shorts, I don't like. But
so you don't. Okay, so you don't think that Twitter will have an answer to that? They've already said that they're trying to bring back Vine. You don't think that it's gonna?
So originally,
I'm just saying, like right now, there's a new player that's entered this space, right?
You brought up a good
point.
Any
success that Twitter has. Okay, and understand Tesla is an AI company, and Twitter will now be an AI company. I'm just saying, he has said it. He's coming after YouTube. He's coming after Patreon.
Let me ask you a question, Carlos. Let me ask you a question, because I would have agreed with you a couple of months ago when I was a bit more naive about this, and I think I've done a lot of research over the past couple of months to inform my thesis on this. How many times have you listened to a space on Twitter over the past month?
I did it twice, and I turned it off in 2 minutes.
Okay, so that's that, Carlos.
Actually, this last week I've been hopping into a lot of them. I didn't really understand the whole Twitter space thing, but especially since they were this last week when it was like the Twitter files. I've been popping in and out of spaces, and
so the reason you did is because Elon Musk is exposing all of the shit that's going on with Twitter. That's like the sole reason you decided to check it out. But Twitter Space has been around for a year and a half. I think that when a platform develops a moat, it is very difficult. It's really difficult to get people to do things on that platform that is not part of its moat. Elon Musk wants to have articles on Twitter. I don't know how many people are going to read articles on Twitter. Now, intuitively, you're like, wait a second, all you're doing on Twitter is reading. So like, of course you would read long form articles, but there's a reason there's 280 characters. There's a certain action that hundreds of millions of people are taking. That's why people don't even read threads that much. Like there's
but if what you're saying is true, then Facebook would have never been able to expand beyond just people sharing pictures of their food.
Well, no, there's a difference.
Think about Marketplace. Marketplace was an add-on business, right? Marketplace was an add-on business.
Yes, but how many? Why hasn't Facebook killed YouTube? 3 billion people are there versus 2.3 billion. There's videos galore.
Because Facebook wanted to be like a network.
Exactly. Facebook didn't showcase, like they're not giving organic discovery to videos at the same scale that YouTube is. So Twitter, they're talking about adding podcasts, adding video. I'm like, people are there for tweets. So if you incorporate all this other shit, you've got to either increase a massive amount of users that have the capacity and the attention span for all of that stuff, or you've got to decrease the level of impressions that you're giving to the main product of Twitter, which is tweets, which means the user behavior has to fundamentally shift. It's not that it's not possible. It's that I think Twitter's growth is from payments. I think Twitter's growth is from some external feature that doesn't require my attention.
He's already said that. He's already said he's trying to.
Right, and that's got to be executed. But the content risk is greater if you change Twitter from just tweets to videos.
Can I just bring it down to the basics? It is really hard for anyone to come in and take over 3 billion people who are already using something. You have to be 10x better. If Elon somehow does this, makes it 10 times better, has to be 10 times. It can't be doubled better, honestly. Just like the car, Tesla had to be 10 times better than a regular car. It had to be. And Elon said this many times. He actually says it has to be 10 times better. He can't make that product. Okay. He's going to have to spend a decade over there and forget about going to Mars and forget about everything else because he has to focus on Twitter as an ad platform. If he does that, yeah, maybe it'll be 10 times better in 10 years, 5 years. By then, I would have gotten my 5X from Meta and be out anyway. So I don't know what you're
also even if they add the videos and all the other stuff, like how do you monetize that shit? Unless people pay the $8 a month, how are you going to pay the creators?
I'm not
like,
paying
Twitter ads already suck. So how are you making ads before the video? Like where YouTube, it's got them pretty good because they have search. Like Twitter search is fucking horrible. I searched in one word yesterday. It said no results. I'm like, really? You have 500 million tweets a day. I get no results for one word. Like this is insane, right? So they've got a lot of work to do. And I think they'll figure it out.
I'm not denying that they have a lot of work to do. I'm just saying that while you're evaluating, evaluating the potential for companies that you're looking at, there's other players in that space or specifically.
It's not even kind of on my conscience.
Well, I can't even invest in Twitter. First of all, forget about it. I can't even invest in them.
So, no, I'm not saying I'm not talking about allocating the money to Twitter. I'm just saying that there's a new player, that's coming after. There's specific.
He's not coming after anybody. He's trying to increase their usage. That's it.
He is. But I think there was like that BTS. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was a video that was rolling before an actual interview where he talked about WeChat, how he essentially wants to make it WeChat, where once you're in the Twitter mode, you're there.
That's not easy, Carlos.
Yeah,
what
you're saying is so hard.
Listen, if it was anyone but Elon Musk, we always say this. This is what people say about landing rockets, sending people to the moon, about EVs. I just don't think that you want to bet against him.
I'm not betting. I think it'll do fine. I just don't think he's replacing Meta. 10 million advertisers using Meta. Like he had to go on a PR campaign just to beg Apple to start spending ad money on Twitter again. Facebook doesn't have to do that shit.
Not only that, he had to fly to their campus like a little bitch. Okay? And
you know
walk
what?
around his little fucking pond.
But you think
we're best friends again. We're best friends again.
You think that's what that was?
Of course it was.
Hell yes.
He was going there begging Apple to advertise?
Yes, because Tim Cook got annoyed that the 30%.
Tim Cook got him to fly to him. Whoever flies to the other person is the bitch, by the way. Okay?
It's true.
Okay.
It's true.
Wow, that's a hot take.
I'm like, okay.
Hold on. The other thing is,
I'm an Elon fan, dude. You don't understand how much money I have in Tesla. First of all, this guy's a total prick for getting this other fucking thing going. So fucking annoying.
Right. That's where I think you're
wasting all this time instead of focusing on what is important, which me and you have discussed for already years and years. What's important is going to Mars and making sustainable energy for everybody. That's what's important in life, not creating the perfect ad platform in the world. Please.
Okay, but
also, real quick, Apple did not want the PR that they were getting. They were already under scrutiny.
What I think it was about.
Right? So like it was already pretty bad. Elon has a megaphone to 120 million people, and he was going to tweet day after day after day. Apple, this is a pity investment by Apple. They're like, all right, we'll spend our stupid 100 million on Twitter just so you shut the hell up. I mean, that's what Tim Cook basically said, in my opinion.
I think it was like, don't drag us. Right, because he knows.
Yeah, and it's doing nothing about the 30%. It's not going to change anything about it.
There's one thing I hate to say. I love Elon to death, but man, this dude with punctuality is just not a thing. Like even the Tesla video, I was like, bro, it's an hour. Anything that he promises, he does late. I don't know why.
Tesla video? Which one you mean?
No, the new one.
Late. Yeah, he does it.
Yeah, the semi truck. It was like an hour late. I was like, come on, man. Like you say 9 p.m. I'm here waiting.
Well, also, it's 5 years. It's 5 years after. But I agree with Carlos, by the way. Eventually, Elon will get it through, but I'm not there to wait for that part of it.
It's going to be a while.
I've been in Tesla for already 4 years, so I'm there to wait for that part of it, right? The Tesla part of it.
Like, when did they come out with the Cybertruck announcement? And then when are we still looking at a Cybertruck yet? So it's like one of those things with Elon. He makes a lot of grandiose promises. He eventually lives up to them, but it takes a really long time. And right now,
he does suffer from optimism bias. I 100% think he suffers from optimism bias. But you have to understand something. Tesla and SpaceX are the number one and number two place that people graduating from school want to work. He has access to the absolute most brilliant minds. Any one of those people could run those companies, right? So for him to step away and say do something like Twitter, so he's leaving only the most intelligent, brightest minds to run the companies. It's not like he's leaving it in the hands of a bunch of Joe Schmoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do think that, like I said, Elon is making the right moves with a lot of stuff that he's doing. It's just that a lot of people get very like woefully optimistic based on what Elon Musk says. And there's a lot of execution risk that's involved with, like, look at Google. Google tried to create their own social platform, right? Failed miserably. And that was like billions upon billions of dollars that were wasted in doing that. Microsoft tried doing a very similar thing. They eventually just went the LinkedIn route. Like, there's so many companies that try to do social media, and for some reason
failed at several chances to expand. They tried the currency thing. They weren't allowed.
Yeah, but they still have 3 billion people. That's the thing about Facebook. They still
Yeah.
keep people's attention at the end of the day. And Twitter at 340 million DAUs. That, by the way, I would say less than 5% of people actually tweet and provide value to the platform. Most people don't know how to tweet. It's hard to come up with new thoughts every single day. So you've got to, that's why Twitter is a hard platform to create on, because you've got to not only come to the platform, you've got to start tweeting a lot to even get a couple of followers, right? And then when you get those followers, you got to keep them entertained and you got to keep tweeting it, and you don't get paid for it. So it's really, really difficult.
I want to point that out. What Chris said is so important, that Google tried with their tens of billions of dollars to take over Facebook, right? With their Google Plus, and someone mentioned, Kelly mentions Google Plus. I remember using it for like 5 minutes too, putting all my photos, trying to talk to people. And then what he's saying is absolutely correct.
Once join Google Plus,
but once you have the network, it is so hard, unless you're 10 times better. I keep going back to that, to switch over. I have no reason to leave Facebook. I don't even like Facebook. I just have no reason to leave Facebook. Okay. I don't even use Instagram a lot, but I talk to people like my wife, who uses Instagram to sell shit, okay, and to talk to her audience, and Amit, who's using it to sell shit and talk to his audience. They're not trying to go to Google Plus and maybe TikTok a little bit, but the monetization part only happens on Instagram. That's what's happening.
Understand that TikTok
not Twitter. The reason why we're talking, by the way.
Listen, the reason why we're talking about banning TikTok is because it did win. It is winning. It is something that was able to gain a significant market share. We're only talking about banning it because it's important. So yes, other companies try, but it's not to say that it's impossible. I mean, right now.
Wait, but Carlos, the company that got even a little bit of market share on Instagram was a Chinese conglomerate that was spending billions per month on customer acquisition. And it started in 2014.
And they're losing money in TikTok, FYI.
And it started in 2014. That before it even got to 2019 when it exploded, and the pandemic really exploded it because everyone was at home. So a lot of shit had to happen.
But still, what it means is that it's not impenetrable. It's not impenetrable. And when you're looking at something like 3 billion users, even if you get 1% of that, 2% of that, it's a huge number of users.
Well, that's fine, but that doesn't kill.
Are you going to watch videos on Twitter over YouTube? Are you going to watch videos on Twitter over YouTube?
For me, it's all about what does the interface look like? I think that's a huge.
Do you think Twitter will know you better from an algorithmic perspective than YouTube to get you to switch?
I'm not actually happy with the way YouTube is. YouTube, the echo chamber is so clear.
You don't think Twitter won't be an echo chamber? That's how they keep you on the platform.
This is what I mean. But this is what I mean. This is what I have to see. I have to see how it actually works in real life. Because what I noticed with YouTube is I do a lot of searches that are outside of what I do normally because I'm my work. Sometimes a client will send me something and I'll have to look at it, and then I'll immediately see my entire feed change over to just continue to show me more of that. And that's not necessarily what I want. Sometimes I have to actively search for things that I think the algorithm should be showing me.
So can I take a poll? Can I take a poll here, and maybe in the audience too? Maybe they can tell us. Forget about this Twitter debate for a second, because it doesn't matter. I can't invest in Twitter. Let's go back to investing, which is actually what I care about. Not because I can't do anything about Elon and Twitter. How many think that Facebook will be over $200? Let's say in a year, maybe 2 years. Raise your hand. Go ahead, everybody in the comments. Who thinks Facebook will be over $200?
What's it at now?
$120 or something like that. Now, Carlos, you're the biggest bear here. Do you not think Facebook will make it back to being over $200, or do you actually think it's stuck in basically hell for now? I mean, for the next 2-3 years.
Just take a look at the chart. I mean, I'm not saying
you got to look at the chart.
I am from New York, Arthur. Just FYI.
All I'm saying is
I just want to see how far we've fallen.
To me, it's all about cash flows, dude. As far as I can tell, their cash flows are strong with these layoffs that they did with. If you look at the average,
we have a bunch of no's, by the way. There's a bunch of no's in the comments, so there's a lot of people who think no.
We got Zuckerberg haters, man. They don't like Zucks.
I'm glad. No. I'm glad that people are saying no, because that just goes to show.
Wait, you're saying $200? $200 at this price? All right, so
that would be a market cap of like really 400 billion, I think.
But it was only
and their PE currently is around 10. FYI. Okay.
It only crossed 200 for the first time in May 2020.
As soon as they show $1 more in profit per user next year, sometime after this apocalypse of advertising ends, that is it. Game on. This stock is not going to stay at $120. It's game on.
Vitaly, it went from 88 to 120, which is a 30% gain in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
and whatever.
Guys,
yeah.
Once you see the amount of cash that they're going to be saving from laying off 11,000 employees, you will go like literally
and getting rid of real estate in New York too.
They're getting operational cash flow is going to be crazy. And what do you think they're going to be doing with all of that additional cash that they're not necessarily using on other stuff? They're going to be buying back shares. They're going to be buying back shares.
Well, yeah, I mean, and Tesla too. That buyback is coming. That $5 billion.
No, but forget about Tesla, Carlos. Is it over 200 or not? In let's say 2 years, maybe 3 if you're really bearish on it.
But I mean, 3 years. If they're not, I'd say that's a pretty bad run for the company.
It's a bad situation. I agree.
For 3 years.
But I'm saying, do you 3 years. Do you think it'll happen or do you not think it'll happen? Well, we're more or less 50-50, 60-70. I'm sorry, 60-40.
At 200 in a year? Where are we there? So from here.
2 years.
2 years, I would say that it has to. Otherwise, if it's not, I think then it's not looking good for them as a company, right?
And Matt, I do have Meta Leaps. I bought them at 100. I do.
So yeah, I mean that's what I would say. Well, just talking about like the limit of a call option, I would say it's risky, but I would probably give.
I think there's zero risk. Zero risk.
Of course, listen. Of course,
either my money's flat. Either my money's flat.
Yeah, but as a call option, you'll lose it.
Well, no, most of my share, I actually have mostly shares. So you're right. The call option might go away, but actually my call option's already up. I bought it at 100. I'm up $20 per share. Anyway, I'll be either mostly flat for all my shares. If nothing happens, it's what are you going to $20? Like, what do people think is happening here? Like I don't understand. What is your bear case now? That it's going to a 2 PE? I don't. Worse than AT&T? What is the bear case here? I don't get it. It's a 10 PE. Is it going to fucking 2 PE? I don't understand.
Especially with WhatsApp monetization rolling out, man. That's
no,
2
what
billion
is the bear case? There is no bear case anymore. That's it. It is living the bear case right now.
You're saying Meta?
Yeah, it's at a 10, 11 PE.
Listen, this is what I think. If they were printing cash and it was such a guarantee the way that you think, I don't think that Mark would be trying to create this metaverse with the urgency that he's doing it against all the wishes of all the shareholders and even a lot of the people that use Facebook. I think he sees some writing on the wall that is not public to investors. I don't. I don't think that we're going to be using the social media in the same way in 5 years than we're using now.
Well, first, I don't think he's doing that because there's a problem. I don't think he's doing that because there's a problem with cash flow. I think he thinks that he needs to get out of Apple's grapple hold. That's it. And he wants to have a visionary way to get out of their hardware, which is the metaverse.
So what happens if they announce the metaverse and nobody uses it? Like I don't.
When they keep printing $130 billion of ad revenue,
but then they're still under the thumb of a company like Apple. No. What happens if Apple decides to leverage that?
Apple can't fuck them any more than they've already fucked them.
That's it. Yeah, they're fucked. And
I don't know how much.
If anything, Apple will pull back on all of these ad things because they have a lot of companies now a lot of companies, even Google, all these companies are giving them pressure. Like, hey, you're really fucking up our business here. Not only Meta. Meta obviously is the public one getting hit, and they had the metaverse at the same time, so they were just assholes in the room. But every advertiser is getting hit. You're not realizing that. And if Apple's job is to keep also the app developers happy, they're going to have to pull back on some of this. They're going to have no choice.
And Apple's already got a ton of lawsuits under its belt trying to be a monopoly. So you really don't want to ring
monopoly.
That. Yeah, they are a monopoly, but the best thing to do is hide the fact that they're a monopoly and going this route where you're limiting like your biggest competitors from monetizing. That just goes to show. And especially right now, because Apple is making money in advertising, doing the same things that Facebook was doing before. It's kind of crazy that literally they're using their monopolistic power to target Facebook.
Oh, I'm sure that there was a great. Did you see that video that someone redid the Apple commercial, the 1984 Apple commercial that was talking about Apple?
Yeah,
and it was like an avatar. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Okay, let's end the pod on this. We haven't talked about this. Michael Burry came out with a tweet last night. Chris, I saw this because you tweeted.
Well, you didn't say your 3 stocks, did you?
I said Meta, Tesla. The other, I guess, 3 that I'm thinking about is Shopify, Snapchat, and Pinterest. Not decided on any of those 3, but those are 3 I would look into and I would think about. Pinterest is one of the ones that are high up for me. They have 445 million MAUs, 665 million in ad revenue, 1 billion monthly active visits. I think it's something people don't think about a lot. I don't know if it's a double in a couple of years, but that segment of middle-aged women that are using the platform is growing.
What do you
Snapchat, because I think it's a bit undervalued at $10. I'm not super bullish on it. I don't like the ads platform, but I do think.
Do you actively use Snapchat anymore?
I use Snapchat. I use the maps feature a lot. So I'll randomly go into like Saudi Arabia and just like see what's going on. Oh fuck, my phone died. I can't show it. But like you click on Snapchat, they have the maps feature. I'll go to like Canada. I'll go to like United Kingdom. I'll just see what people are doing on a Friday night. Like it's actually, I kind of like it. It's kind of cool.
Wait. What's you can do that on Snapchat?
You can do that. Snapchat has a map. If you go to the left side, you scroll through the map, you can click on any part of the world and see user-generated content. It's like YouTube, except there's no title or thumbnail.
Localized,
click on something. It's really cool. I like it. So
I wish I had that. The other day I was on Instagram and I was just browsing through and I was like watching some of the stuff like these Indian people that have been putting on Instagram, right? And then my entire like video like that are just keep populating were just like Indian elections or Indian cricket. And I was like, bro, I need to get out of this. I need to like not interested. How do I do it? So eventually I figured out the best way to do it was every time an Indian thing came up, I just like quickly scrolled through it. And then if it was like an American thing that actually was relevant to me, I stopped for a little bit. So I was like fine tuning my algorithm by the things that I was consuming. But it was weird. Once you go into that wormhole, dude, it's strong, man. It's
Carlos,
strong.
let me say one more thing now that Chris brought up this Indian thing. I randomly today came across an Indian reel of like TMZ in India. It's like, they have the paparazzi and all this stuff, but they're covering Indian celebrities. And I just started binging these like random reels. And I'm like, oh, they have 17 million followers. And I'm like, holy shit. There's an Indian media outlet that is equivalent to TMZ, if not bigger than TMZ in India, that's covering all of the biggest Bollywood celebrities the same way TMZ is doing that for America. And it just kind of clicked in my head, and it reminded me the world is really big.
The world
is
a lot of people, bigger than the US, yeah.
And India doesn't have a phenomenal platform to distribute voices other than Facebook. Guess where else doesn't have that? Ghana, Saudi Arabia, Germany. Like the whole world uses this one thing, and it's like, wait a second, there's a lot of momentum here.
And TikTok is banned in a lot of countries, including
it's banned in India.
I actually was trying to share this. Can you guys see this? Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
This happened today. Government in South Dakota banned TikTok.
Yes, I saw this. I saw from state devices. Yep.
What? South Dakota. So it's it's just saying here, South Dakota will have no part in the intelligence gathering operations of nations who hate us. The Chinese Communist Party uses information gathered on TikTok to manipulate the American people, and they gather data off the devices that access its platform. So
I mean, you're just giving a if that ever happened, by the way, that's my lights.
This is the solar panel.
Right.
Can we please get some oil and gas in here, bro? I need to go Long Beach, Chevron right now.
So guys,
that's why this talks BP.
Wait, I'm switching oil right now. Hold on a second.
Christ. Sitting there in the dark.
Goodness gracious.
Oh god, it's all app controlled. Wise. Anyway.
Just a quick thing. I don't know if you guys know this, but they caught TikTok monitoring devices
around failure live. That's funny. You should put that up.
Around South Dakota. South Dakota has a lot of nuclear warheads for the United States. Like all the missile silos, there's a ton in South Dakota and around the Dakotas and Midwest and all that stuff. So one of the things that they found out was somehow they were actually using TikTok and all these applications to almost like do geofencing and geo targeting of people who had close connections to people who actually managed nuclear warheads and stuff like that. So it's almost like these people are going after national security.
Right. It's a matter of national security. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Michael Burry, he said he's not short. What do you guys think? Did we hit the bottom?
No, I tweeted that just for funsies because it was like everyone seems to always like, oh, Michael Burry's short. Everyone needs to get out. Michael Burry is not short. Everyone go in. And I was just like, dude, whatever. Guess what? Dr. Burry's short again.
You just gotta wait for Kramer.
Yeah.
You just gotta wait for Kramer to tell you to buy.
So we're putting no weight on Michael Burry saying he's not short.
No, I don't.
He's been short for 10, 12 years. And look, you're going to be right eventually.
You'll be right at some point. Yeah.
And look, he's right, but I don't know. Some of these stocks have been beaten down. Like is Meta going? Like I said, is it going down to 50? fine. If it does, I'll buy some more. Like it's ridiculous. Because at some point when it turns, I'm the long-term investor. I'm thinking, all right, I think Michael Burry's a trader. I think we can agree on that, right? He sees a good trade. It could go down by 50%, and then he's going to buy back in pretty heavy. But me and you won't know it because we have to wait 3 months for his quarterlies to come out, and then by then he's already in it, and he's made his 5x immediately because he's good at timing things. Whatever. I'm not good at timing things, but on the way down, I can see value. That's it. And I see value in some of these stocks. Google, Meta, Amazon, they're all looking pretty good, honestly, for the long-term investor.
Okay.
One other thing for Meta, while we were still somewhat talking about it, the number of people that are finally getting high-speed internet connectivity in regions of the world that never had internet connectivity, that's growing also, right? One of the things that you're going to see is as countries develop and they get higher levels of broadband and internet connectivity, they usually end up going into some level of social media platform. So an example is with the advent of Starlink, as Starlink becomes more expanded out, you're going to see the user numbers also start to grow also. One of the biggest challenges that Facebook had, and even Google right now is heavily investing in trying to get internet infrastructure in some parts of the world that don't have that connectivity, because at the end of the day, that's adding consumers to what Google is doing and selling, which is searches, right? So you want to expand your user base as much as possible. The user base is still expanding. So that's
why Meta was trying for a while to get satellites in space. They wanted to give free internet to everyone.
I do want to mention one other thing we're not discussing. The last thing about Meta, they built a massive AI center recently, right? They released all the news about it. What are they going to do with that? Like, we don't know all the plans, but I think there's a monetization strategy besides just the metaverse and besides advertising the metaverse. I think there's some sort of thing in play. But once again, this is all, I don't know exactly, but I think there's something in play here.
There's one thing that I wanted to leave, just maybe even to discuss for next time. So I'll just share my screen real quick. I'll just give you the preamble. So I worked for a company whose entire business model is to design the cities of the future. So they're the guys that come in with the architects and all of like the city planners, and they design them. And so what they did was, as part of this presentation that we did, they had a timeline of how they expect from now till 2070 to play out. And I think it's been a few years now, so it's interesting just to see where we are on that scale. Tell me if you can see this. I don't see it. Do you see this?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. How can I see that? Oh yeah. Let me just go back here and look at it this way. Yeah. So you can see here. We did the video a few years back, but you can see here. So we're right now in this decade, right? And this is where they were designing something like a mega city. These giant mega structures. Then they have like the rural city, floating city, off planet city. But you can see like we're right somewhere around here, and they were predicting liquid batteries, GMO food disaster, 3D printing to become ubiquitous. Here by 2030, they're thinking 15% of new construction is 3D printed. Just zoom into this a little bit. They're saying autonomous vehicles somewhere at the beginnings of the 2030s. Nanotech's going to take off. Ubiquitously connected infrastructure. This is something that I frequently refer to in terms of like, what are the business opportunities of the future that maybe I might not even be aware of, right? Because there's a lot of money being put into designing these cities, and it's really deep. Like the amount of research and development that they do. So here they're predicting 2045, 46 for like general AI. But you can see here, where's this one? Here, this one's always interesting to me. Ubiquitous human scale AIs in cities between 2030.
That's going to be crazy, man. When we're walking down the street and there's some level of AI incorporated in everything we're doing, like that shit's going to be insane.
Like literally you would walk into a city, right? And you would log into the AI of that city, and you would have maybe like a digital avatar that will speak to you in your native language and essentially be like your tour guide, let you know how things are in the city. It's insane. I mean, there are changes on the horizon that I think we can't even really fathom right now. And I think a lot of it is pegged to AI. And that's part of the reason why, in terms of this $1,000, like trying to figure out what companies right now are the most set to benefit for that, right?
Snowflake.
I had one more topic if you guys want to touch on it real quick. Did you guys see the chatbot, the GP3 chatbot?
A little bit. You want to show it?
A little bit of Italian?
Yeah, show it.
Let me pull it up. My question here. So for those who don't know, OpenAI released a Chat GPT, which essentially, I'm pulling it up right now, is what has been referred to on Twitter over the past couple of days as a Google killer. right? So if I type in,
Oh yes, okay, I've been hearing about this.
so what's a good question to type to show you guys it's good?
Will Meta be over $2,200?
Well, that'll be over 200 in a year.
They're not going to do that because they don't talk about companies. They excluded that. Let's do. What is the purpose of
I agree with Cameron Vincent in the chat. Meta is the next Friendster or MySpace. I agree with that.
Right. Then who's next? That's the answer. You need.
Meta
You
is
need,
not
you need
the
the
next
next thing.
Friendster or MySpace.
No,
yeah.
I think so. I think that they will. I personally
when
think
Friendster and
years-
MySpace were there, Facebook was there to take over. Well, who is that? Who's that person? Is it TikTok? That's what you're saying?
I'm not. I'm not saying that I know who that person necessarily is, or that what that.
They don't
company
exist.
necessarily
This is my point.
Yeah, but there was
Okay,
a
so
point
let's
when MySpace
let's
was
look at
in
this.
existence, but in Facebook it didn't exist yet. So
Right, well,
I agree. I think Meta is the next Friendster or MySpace. I think they're going to be.
Okay, Carlos also agrees that he is dogmatic on Meta. We have accepted that. What is the purpose of life, right? We got a pretty dope answer by this thing. The purpose of life is a question that is posed to philosophers and theologians, blah, blah, blah. Some people believe blah, 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 and it keeps going. And if I say, how do I market a podcast? Let's see what it comes up with. Here are some tips for marketing a podcast. Look at this. This is crazy.
Use Facebook, pretty much. Use social media.
Use Facebook.
Right,
Well, look what it says.
Facebook.
It links to episodes on Twitter.
But look at
Yeah.
this. Look at this. Be consistent. Leverage an email list. Like, so if I type this in on Google, it would give me a bunch of links after it gives me a bunch of ads on how to market my podcast. Do we think AI could kill the $95 billion per year search engine that is Google?
No.
No, that's silly.
No.
You're talking about 20 years from now? Maybe, fine. 20.
No, I'm talking
but-
about in the next 3-4 years. If
No,
people start
way. Not
typing
happening.
in this little
No.
box over Google because they get better results, which is the whole point of search.
Right.
I mean, look at what I got. I got 6 actionable tips before if I go on
Well,
Google
okay,
and
so
do
that's
that,
a
it's
tip.
not
Can
gonna
you
be the
can you
same.
do like you're researching how to go ahead?
How
How
to
do
market
you
a
wait,
podcast? Look, I'm doing it on Google right now. You
no,
see
I
this,
was going to
right?
give you a more complicated thing to say.
Okay, we got an ad. We got an ad. We got an ad. We got an ad.
Yeah,
and
but
then
those ads are related to you marketing your podcast.
That's not fair to Google. That's what Google is meant to show you.
I'm not criticizing the
It's
ad
a
model. I'm just
curation
saying
of the ads, right?
I know, I get it. I 100% agree. I'm just saying if a open AI gives me a better response than any of these ads, I'm not saying it is right now. I'm just saying, what if it does?
Right.
Do I need these ads at the end of the day? Like, I didn't ask for Spotify podcast advertising, but they bought those keywords. But what if I don't need Spotify to advertise my podcast?
Well, you
right now. I just
understand
need
when
more
GPT
tips.
makes money, they're going to put ads in their return feeds it's the same thing's going to happen because they still have to make money.
They're going to do ads? You think they're going to?
How are they going to monetize? Everyone keeps talking about it. Carlos was talking about like Twitter's not going to monetize with ads. Like that's the silliest thing I've ever heard. Of course they will.
It's not. No, listen, it's not. I didn't say that they're not going to monetize with ads, but just to speak to Amit's point, I think it would be more like product placement. So in other words, like you'll still get the AI search, you'll still get the AI result, but it'll favor.
What if they just charge a $1 a month subscription and you get better answers that are more accurate instead of ads?
I think people would pay that. I don't think people like ads. In general, people don't.
Exactly.
Like
so that's my point. Is there a world in which Google gets disrupted? Google's a search box. That's it. It has web crawlers that index the web.
Mm-hmm.
And they sell ads against search results, and they're the default for a majority of the population. There's no reason they can't be disrupted, right? Yeah, it's big, but another search box can come up. You can type something in, get a better result, and then just use that over.
Well, once again, you're simplifying the whole thing. Google is not a search box. I have my email with them. I do commerce with them. There's so many things that they actually do. There's Google
Companies
Pay
run
that
none of that
Google Photos,
but they only provide
point
those
is-
services
hold on,
to
hold
get
on, let me
data
finish.
on you.
Hold on.
95% of revenue is search.
Hold on. It doesn't matter. The point is they built all this stuff around it so that it's very sticky. It's very hard to just replace with one thing. It's the same thing with Meta. You can't just replace it with one thing that's slightly better. That's not enough.
I'm not saying kill Google. I'm saying fundamentally
He's saying
disrupt.
He's saying the idea of search would mean something different.
It will in 2030.
It would be like more like your
will.
best friend. It'd be like asking your really knowledgeable like friend who just tells you, oh, if you want to promote your podcast, do these things. It's as if someone who has experience in that.
No, I agree. It's very useful and it's going to be part of it. But isn't GPT
guys,
funded by Google too? Am I wrong?
No. They bought DeepMind. That's a little bit different. Think about TikTok, right? Google's head of VP said 40% of Gen Z is using TikTok for searching for food and travel. Like TikTok already disrupted a little bit of Google's search monopoly. I'm just saying, if an AI model is that advanced and it can give better results without the ads and a more pleasurable experience, why couldn't Google be disrupted? Is, I guess, my question. It actually is something to think about as a long-term investor in Google. I don't think it's that black and white, because search can easily be disrupted if you've got an infrastructure of AI that's getting exponentially better year after year, and the costs to train it are getting exponentially lower. I mean, there's a shot.
Do you know what the best ads that I've ever seen in my life are? It's the ones that I've searched for myself by going to YouTube and putting in, I'm trying to buy a computer, show me the top 5. And a content creator does 5 reviews, and I tend to always buy one of them. I'm telling you, YouTube is probably one of the best ad platforms when it comes to anything.
But that's not an ad, Chris. That's just organic content.
Yes, no. But that's what I'm saying. Google still makes money. Remember, anytime you're searching on YouTube, even if it's an unrelated thing, it's going to search and it's going to suggest things to you. It's going to push things to you. And the best ads are the ones that you're not even thinking they're ads, that they're just acting upon. And that's what Google does really, really well, right? So right now, when I go to YouTube, and I'm like, half of my searches are usually like things around how to learn and how to do things. Like right now, this is one of the best use cases for YouTube that I've ever had, which is Excel. Like I use Excel a lot for work. I use it for other things. And I'm like, if I'm missing how to do it, back in the day, I'd have to search, find it on Microsoft, blah, blah. And right now I just go to YouTube, and usually some guys has a clip of it. And it's such an easy thing. Anything that you want to learn, you can learn on Google right now. Well, through YouTube. I think that's one of the most amazing things that's ever been created.
I want to follow up what Chris says, but yes, the amount of money Google has spent on actually compiling all this data, everyone's ignoring. It's really, they put some web crawler, some Python web crawler in, and any kid can do this. This is the insanity you people spew. This is really difficult what they're doing, aggregating all of this data, making the deals with all of these content provide New York Times or whoever they're making deals with to get all this data, to the people who publish papers for physicists and computer scientists. And you guys are ignoring all of this information that GPT doesn't have access to unless they start paying billions of dollars of access for. And at that point, they have to advertise to you. So, I mean, we're back to Google basically. And DeepMind is part of Google. So I don't see any reason they won't do the same.
But here, look, to Amit's point, if I had to pay that company, say $10 a month, to get really curated answers that actually answer my question more than just suggest, I would do that.
By the way, there is an ad. There is an actual platform. I forgot the search engine, but you do pay them $10 to get no ads and just.
I think it's like DuckDuckGo. No, not Duck. Naver. And I think there's a bunch.
There is an actual. And I'll send you the link. Hold on, I'll send you the link, and I expect you to pay the $10 a month.
No. It's not about not getting ads.
No, I'm going to send you the link. We're going to do it on the show.
Send the link all you want. I'll delete it as many times as you send it. The point is that it's not about not seeing ads. It's about getting the actual answer to your question.
You're going to get an answer with no ads for $10 a month.
Yeah, look, I'm not saying Google's going anywhere. I use Google. I love Google. I use flights on Google. You type in Newark to LAX and boom, you get a bunch of flights.
If it wasn't for Google, none of us would be doing what we're doing right now.
None of us would be doing this.
Here we are.
It's just if we're talking, Carlos brought up this picture of AI disrupting everything, which, we have to think that AI, if it becomes as powerful as it is, it could disrupt basic things like search. Even if it doesn't scale it.
Can we also talk about the reliability? Like, imagine how great the reliability. Like, I've gone to so many different things and they failed. I've never had YouTube videos fail. I've never had YouTube crash on me. I've never had search crash on Google. Dude, whatever they're doing in terms of infrastructure is on another level. And that's another thing that's very hard to replicate.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Sorry for interrupting, Carlos. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying it wasn't about the ads. It's about getting the result, getting the answer that you need. Instead of getting a bunch of links that aren't ads, just getting the answer. It's like this is one of the benefits of having like a strong network, right? If you have like a doctor in your family and something happens, you call that doctor and they can give you much better advice than you could find from WebMD or anything else. It just cuts to the answer and gives you the result. What you're talking about is having basically a best friend that is in every industry.
Yeah,
everything. There, in terms of like law, you have a friend who's a lawyer. You can call them up with any legal questions. Having a dentist, a doctor, that's what you're talking about there. Really. Is having that sort of that level of answer.
Yeah, I think Google is obviously working on that as well. So that's why I find it hard that someone else will just come along and disrupt them. Unless you're talking about maybe Microsoft making a better tool. I don't think it'll be GPT-3 itself. I think it'll be Google disrupting it with something like DeepMind or GPT-3 of their own making. That's what it'll be.
Okay.
Awesome.
That's it. We're done for this week. Thank you, everybody. We will keep track of this portfolio over the next couple of weeks. Show you guys how it does by the end of the year as well. Second episode. Thank you all for being here. And yeah, we'll see you guys.
Now I want
in the description.
to
Goes
invest
so
in Google. Now I want to invest in Google.
I've been buying Google.
Discussion.
I've been buying Google, baby.
I have some credit. I have some options on Google. When they crashed, I was like, dude, I can't. I love fucking Google, dude. I can't do it.
Yeah, it's an easy bet. Who knows what it'll go up? I'm not talking about 5Xs here. I'm just saying 20% compounded. I'll take it. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Love it. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We'll be back next Sunday, 9 p.m. It seems like the time for this pod. So keep your Sundays open because you got to spend it with the financial junkies. And check out amitislegit.com. Get some merch. I have no income. Thank you. All right.
Bro, we better be getting some free merch. We better be getting some free merch.
I got to buy it. 54.20, baby.
Goddamn cheapskate. Give me some free merch.